What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 23 of the Miami Marlins out of Park Baseball 25 series. Make this full screen. And we're here. It is 2032, April 30th. The Marlins are 20-2. The exact way we started last season as well. Pretty much same story as last year. Really nothing to complain about. Our lineup is slightly top heavy, but honestly, a lot of guys have held their weight. So we dealt with one injury. Pre-Crow Armstrong did go down. We didn't have the same luck with Corbin Carroll, where he never wound up going on the IL, but he went down with an oblique strain, 4-week injury. Got off to a really good start to the year too. Offensively and defensively, probably would have picked it up. Only played 10 games, but we wound up losing him. So we have guys to fill in. So Luis Cova has come back up on the team. Didn't make the opening day roster, but has come up, and he hasn't played too much. 25 plate appearances, hasn't done anything really. Him and Rafael are playing, holding down right field at the moment. But I mean, it's been about as good of a start as you can ask. This is last year's stats, by the way. So it's shockingly enough, and not really shocking. Royce Lewis is an incredible player, but man, he's gotten off to one of the best starts I've ever seen through the first month. So he's put up 2 WAR already, on pace for 15. And that's with subpar defense at third base. He's getting moved to second as of this series. His arm's just not good enough to play third anymore. So, he's on pace for 74 home runs. This is obviously not going to hold, but the strikeout rate is minuscule at the moment. His walk percentage is higher than it's ever been, even an increase from last year, which is already a career high. He's boosted that somehow again. The BABIP's high, so there's some regression there. But if it's a 300 BABIP guy and he puts up a 150 WRC plus, I wouldn't be shocked. So he's been the star of the month. And Ordo Watkins got off to an incredible start. He's still having a great season. But man, his start to the season, we started down here, had a couple 4-hit, 3-hit games. He was just absolutely killing it up to here. He had 4 hits in this game. His OPS went up to 1364. Has fallen off a bit, but he's still 1.1. And I have a contract offer out for him for an extension. It's 8 years. What do I have him? 8 years, $211.4 million. If he takes that, we have our 2 best players locked up for the next close to decade. We'll be here until 2040. Be making that far in the save, but he has the injury concerns. He's still okay health status wise, so that's not a big deal. But he's doing this all with an 8.4% walk rate, which I think will shoot up at some point. The BABIP is 484, which is not going to sustain. But I mean, he showed it last year that he can be an MVP type player. He finished 4th at MVP in 97 games. With him and Herrera, we'll get to him in a second. He's having a great season of his own, just been overshadowed by those 2 guys. With those 2, we are set for the next decade, which I'm super excited about. These guys took different paths in the majors. Watkins was 9th overall pick in 2028. Herrera was our first international free agent signing in 2025. So, these guys are the face of the franchise. So, really happy to have them around. Luis Herrera has been excellent. The only thing that, he's hit a couple home runs in the last few games, but he was struggling to hit the ball out of the ballpark. But he's 1.1, OPS, 194 WRC plus, on pace for 10 WAR. He's just incredible. And the defense at shortstop will pick up, I'm sure. So those 3 guys have kind of spearheaded our offense. They've been, incredible and worth, Lewis has the big contract. He's been worth every bit of it through the first 2 seasons. And then, Watkins and Herrera. Herrera's already been paid. Watkins will be in the next couple of days, assuming he signs that contract. So, the rest of the lineup's been good too. It's just, those guys have been insane. Jimmy Crooks has been awesome as a backup catcher in 20 plate appearances. Not much really else to say about him. Travis Bazana's gone on a nice little run here. 20 on pace for 29 home runs. I don't think he'll get there, but if he can give us 15 to 20, I'd be totally stoked. 150 WRC plus, holding it down at first base. Chad Rogers had a big bounce back year so far in 74 plate appearances. Justin Foskey's been a great signing thus far. In 86 plate appearances, he's been great, driving in a ton of runs in the middle of the order. Brett Sonneborn's been good in limited playing time. Jazz has been solid overall this season. He's on the last year of this deal. I hope he doesn't want a big extension because I'd love to keep him on the Marlins for his career. And he doesn't want any crazy money, so I'd totally bring him back at that price. If nothing else for vibes. And I kind of just say that about Jazz. And now he's a Yankee as of today. I'm recording this on the 28th. He got traded yesterday to the Yankees. So, definitely want to keep him around after that. Then Rafaela hasn't been great so far, but, he's what he is at this point. He's a, slightly below league average hitter, but brings good defense. Though his range has dipped off a bit. But he's on the last year of his deal. He has a team option, $800,000 buyout. I doubt we take that option, but it's possible if he has a good year. Sebastian Norman hasn't done too much yet. Still hoping he can pick things up, at least power-wise. He only has 5 career home runs and close to 200 plate appearances. You'd hope for a little bit more with a guy with 65 power, but maybe the contact's just holding him back at this point. Luis Kofi talked about him. Then Jesus Flores, kind of looking like a bust at this point. Not going to lie. It hasn't been a good start to the year. He still has potential to reach a really good player, but it's not looking good so far. Although he did have a 2-hit game in the Atlanta series, but hasn't been a good start to his career. He's like a 60 WRC plus guy through 75 games or so. And pitching wise, it's been great. Yuri Perez picked up where he left off last year. He's been awesome. Jason DeCaro had a couple good starts at the beginning of the year. Has fallen off the past 2, but I'm not too worried about him at all. He's on pace for 22 wins, and the FIP still looks good. Eric Spiegel's been awesome to start the year. Not worried about him. Ethan Wheeler's been really good. If he gives us 150 innings of 4 ERA, I'd be totally happy. It does need to get the walks under control. But, I think he'd be a league average pitcher. And then Hagen Smith's been really good as well. I wish he went a little bit deeper into games, but he does have the control issues. He's walking 5 guys per 9. The home runs have been a problem. The FIP isn't pretty, but you hope that stuff normalizes. It's only been 4 starts for him, 20 innings. And the bullpen's been really good. Jorge Mercedes, again, picking up where he left off last year. He's been great. Hunter Green's been really good. Picked him up on a cheap 1-year deal. Joey Breen's been really good out of the pen. Caleb Wallace has struggled. Only 7 innings. The home runs are unsustainable. He gave 2 in this game. That kind of accounts for all of these home runs. Dominic Fritton's been good. He's kind of been a long reliever, like closer type. Throwing 3 innings and finishing out blowout games, which I wish they use him a little bit higher leverage, but I see why they don't. His stuff isn't incredible or anything. Jason Flores has struggled. He's out of options, though. It's really just been the last 2 games. So, it's 6 innings. There's really not much else to say. This is a little bit early to be checking in the bullpen. Quentin Lowe's walked a few guys, but overall has been solid. And then Eric Wheeler just got called up. We needed a fresh arm. The guy who was up originally was Kalen Dagger. He was pitching well through 10 innings, but again, just needed a fresh arm. Jesus Luckett has struggled in AAA so far. Maybe he's got bored of AAA, but it's only 26 innings. Home run's been an issue. I'm not concerned about him. Luis Rosado finally hitting AAA. Could get a call up at some point this year, but I don't think he's quite ready. Sean Witherspoon, off to a really good start in AAA as well. He was a former first-round supplemental pick. Again, just don't think he's quite ready yet, but he's pitching well at that level. Alexis Cedena, finally coming through. Had a really nice start to the season so far. The home runs allowed. I think he could actually be a starter. Wouldn't be crazy if he became, like a 5-and-fly, low control ground ball pitcher that could sustain a long career in the rotation. And Jamie Casey, another guy who's down here for depth. It's an embarrassment of riches in AAA with these prospects that we got here. We have 4 guys who can legitimately be starters at the moment. Jody Watson's playing really well down there, but I just don't have a spot for him. Jacob Lombard, another guy I want to get involved at some point. But yeah, I mean, our farm system's stacked. Ted Hart's off to a good start in Double-A after struggling there last year. Former first-round supplemental pick. And yeah, it's been a great start to the season. 22. Just wanted to check in at this point on how everything is going, and it's no hangover for us yet, but a lot of season to go. And, we obviously won't finish with a 909 win percentage, but, I think we could finish in the 700s potentially. So Colorado, they're a really good team, 15-7 to start the year. So they're not too far behind us. Of course, a good offense. Their pitching's been surprisingly good, it looks like. At least their bullpen has. So, they're always going to be a problem. The Lobos and Cardinals, a little bit farther behind, but not horrible teams. So there you go. That's the first month. We'll come back and check in at some point in June. Alrighty, so we're back. It is June 15th, 2032. Marlins are 41-22. Obviously, it's a steep decline. It's how we started. We started 20-3, 22, and then we lost the next game. But May was 500 month, and then so far in June, it's been solid, 7-5. So definitely we weren't going to hold that 900 win percentage, like I said, but it is what it is. And I feel pretty good about this team moving forward. However, we deal with one injury. In order, Watkins broke his hand. Will once again miss time. It's already been about a month without him. It was an 8 to 9 week injury. 4 to 5 weeks left in his recovery. So we wound up signing him to a big contract. So I hope the injuries don't follow him, because they have so far. But, he's still a really good player while he's out there, and he was having a good year. So Vicro Armstrong's come back and filled in leadoff spot pretty well. 115 WRC plus, played center field, which didn't really want to have him do that since he's injury prone, but he's held his own there. Royce Lewis has fallen off since a hot start, but still having a really good year. Luis Herrera has been incredible. 393 average. I mean, this is just absurd. 201 WRC plus, on pace for 11 WAR once again. Defense at short still isn't incredible or anything, but it's been good enough, and I'm sure it will improve. While we're on the topic of shortstops, Luis Rosado got the call up. Was hitting well enough in AAA. I wanted to, mix it up a little bit, so we called him up to be our third baseman. So far, he hasn't been too bad. He's been 306, 38 plate appearances. No power to speak of, but, he's a really good defender over there. He's still learning the position, so the defense hasn't been great yet, but only 10 games. Then we got Chad Rodgers, who's still having a really good year, bouncing back from a really disappointing 2031 season. His defense continues to improve. He's only 25, and really excited to have him for the years moving forward. Travis Bazana has been really good, on pace for 18 homers, 119 WRC plus, 2.3 WAR projected in 129 games. He's been a great pickup so far. We got him for Rodney Green, who continues his strikeout issues in Chicago, and Javier Sonoja, who was a free agent after the season, or I guess they non-tendered him. So this trade's looking really good for us. Bazana has been a great piece for us. Justin Foskew's picked it up. He stumbled for a little bit, but last few games he's been awesome. On pace to drive in 82 runs. Really good strikeout walk stuff. If he gives us that production, I'll be totally happy. Judge Chisholm, it's been a disappointing season. The more I think about it, the less it really makes sense to bring him back, even if, he is good vibes. Negative 6.1 zone rating, 54 games out in left field. And the offense really hasn't been there either, so this could be his last hurrah on the team. So when we dealt with the Watkins injury, I called up Jody Watson. He was doing really well in AAA, and I think he's ready, and he's been really good. The BABIP's at 255, so I think there's even room for improvement. He had a 100 WRC plus with a 118 BABIP at one point. Only 75 plate appearances, but the results have been awesome so far. He's been a huge piece in keeping this team alive with Watkins out, and totally, he's a 4th round pick. He's totally overachieved. that selection. I do want to move him to right field. Then we got Rosado up, and then the rest of the team. Brad Sonneborn has picked it up recently. He had a couple of really nice games in a row. Overall, just like a replacement level player, though. I hope he can provide a little bit more here, though. And Cedane Rafaela has had a nice little string of games as well. Brought the WRC plus up to 110. He's kind of played all over the field this year, mostly outfield. Haven't really played him a lot in the infield, but he's been a great defender in right, below average in center, and just fine in left. So, he's a great piece to have on the team. Then Jimmy Crooks has been really good as a backup catcher too. So, although his defense, fell way off, but no worries, he's still playing well. Then pitching wise, we've had to shake things up pretty significantly, as you can see. Yuri Perez had one really bad start, but besides that, he's been business as usual this season. Jason DeCaro had a couple bad starts, but he's picked it up recently as well. Eric Spiegel's been solid this season, not quite what he was last year. The walk rate's a little up, strikeout rate's slightly down, giving up a few more homers than last year. Last year was probably an overachieving season anyway. But if you can give us an ERA in the mid to high threes, totally happy with that. And then Jesus Toleka finally pulled the trigger on calling him up. He was doing well enough in AAA that I felt comfortable calling him up. He's made 5 starts, mixed results, but he's still early in his career, only 23 years old. And then Hagen Smith has been fine as a 5th starter. The home run's still an issue for him, and the walks, but he's pressing the bad whip so far. But something to monitor. I don't know if he's long for the rotation. Jorge Mercedes has a couple bad games recently to drive his ERA up, but overall he's been good. Hunter Green has been excellent this season outside of just like a few multi-run games. I think he gave like 5 runs one game, if I'm remembering that correctly. He gave him 3 here. Besides that, he's been pretty much lights out in our 8th inning role. Quentin Lowe's been excellent signing so far, $1.5 million. He's just been great. Ethan Wheeler did get bumped from the rotation. He was just not pitching well at all. And he hasn't been great as a reliever either. I mean, as a starter, he was pretty bad. As a reliever, the FIP's been much better. Only 12 innings, so small sample size. But I think he can still be a good reliever, even if he doesn't work out as a starter. Dominic Fritton's been excellent, as he's kind of been throughout the last 4 seasons for us. Joey Breen, the walks have been a huge issue for him. He's keeping the ball in the ballpark at least. Striking out enough guys. The FIP is really, really scary, but he still has a roster spot for now. And Jason Flores has bounced back after a tough start. And Alexis Cedena up with the team, former top 10 prospect, was pitching really well in AAA. So gave him the call to be kind of a long man for us. Pitched 3 games, 7 innings. The ERA isn't pretty, but the home runs kind of came up in 2 of his 3 appearances. But no walks so far, which is a good sign. Other guys, Luis Cove got sent down. He wasn't playing too well, and we called up Jody Watson instead. Deion Cole hasn't made it up yet. Benny Cavanaugh, same story. Vince Crafts, same with the sources, similar. Two sources has killed AAA pitching this season, and I would like to give him a little bit of a run here at some point. Galen Diger hasn't been up since a good start. Gadina, guy we got in the trade at the Mets. He's been hitting a lot of home runs in AAA, but nothing else really. Braxton Hopkins hasn't made it up, but could be a guy who makes an impact for us here down the stretch. And Sebastian Norman, we gave him, he was kind of our starting third baseman for a few weeks, and he just was not doing anything. Like it was brutal. Negative .5 WAR, 51 WRC plus is a supposed power bat. Has gone down to AAA and killed, but he wasn't hitting in the majors. So this could be just another quad A guy. We've had a few of those. That was named Wes Clark at the beginning of the save. Obviously, like Rodney Green. There's probably, I guess, Luke Adams to some extent. I'm sure there's some other guys here, but we've run into a lot of these quad A guys. Too good for AAA and can't play in the majors. So Norman will probably get another shot at some point, but not right now. Greg Palmer hasn't made it up. Dan Peacher pitched one game, was not good. He had 3 runs in an inning. I don't remember exactly what happened in that game, but Eric Wheeler was good when he was up too, but don't really need him at the moment. And that's the 40 man. Sean Witherspoon's still pitching really well in AAA. Just don't think he's quite ready yet. Although he's pitched so well down there, it's realistic that he makes it up to the majors at some point. The FIP is good, but not excellent. Not as good as the ERA. Jamie Casey, another guy, pitching well in AAA, but just don't have a spot for him at the moment. This should play itself out. Sedina will probably go back down at some point. Hagen Smith might lose his rotation spot. Taleka hasn't really shown too much yet. So that's that. We were coming off a 20-5 victory over Washington, which is why I kind of wanted to stop in. Excellent all-around offensive game from pretty much our entire order. Jody Watson had his kind of coming out party in this one. 4 hits, 3 RBIs. Some good batted ball luck finally for him in the majors. He's gonna get a run until Watkins is back, and maybe he's even our starting left fielder if Jazz continues to struggle. He was the only guy without a hit in this game, although did drive in a run and get a walk, so not a horrible game for him. But yeah, that's that. DeCaro is out for a week, so we might need a spot starter when his turn comes back around, but we'll deal with that when it comes. But yeah, that's that. We'll probably be back around All-Star break, draft time, and check in at that point. Hopefully we continue our success. The Rockies only a game and a half back of us, so they're having a really good year as well. 3rd in runs scored, 5th in runs against in Colorado is crazy. Nolan Jones absolutely destroying the ball this year. Holy crap. A guy I tried to trade for at the beginning of the series. I feel like a lot of these guys have popped up recently. He's making a lot of money. I probably wouldn't have given him that contract. Frank Escobar, really good player. Adel Amador is still killing it. A guy I looked to trade for, but he's on a huge contract. So, yeah, that's that. So we'll be back around draft time. All right, so we're here July 11th. Marlins are 53-35, game and a half up on the Rockies. Not a great month overall. We finished, well, I guess it was fine. 16-12 in June. So far in July, it's been 3-6. It has not been a good run, but kind of business as usual. Everyone's kind of doing exactly how they were. Jody Watson has fallen off a bit, but is he still dealing with the BABIP stuff now? So hopefully he can continue to improve and bounce back. He's still small sample size in the majors. Bazana's still been good. Obviously the top of our order is still killing. Luis Ferreira is the number 1 All-Star vote getter. Defense has started to pick up a little bit. Justin Voskew's still been really good. A great signing. 119 WRC plus. Even if he doesn't bring a lot of power, he's been able to drive in a ton of runs. Get some extra base hits. On pace for 57. Steal some bases as well. On pace for 18. 91% stolen base percentage. Really good. We got Sebastian Norman back up, but that's because we had Carlos Correa back for 3 games. Sent him on a little rehab assignment. He was crushing it, so called him back up. Well, he wasn't crushing it, but he was doing fine. So called him up, and then he hurt his back, unfortunately. And it looks like Luis Rosado is dealing with something. His offense has ticked up a little bit, potential-wise. He's only 23, so this is if that's a realistic path, he's going to be a stud over at short or third, depending on where he is. But this is it's a new diagnosis, just as of today. So, and then Nora Watkins will be back probably early after the All-Star break. We'll send him on a quick rehab assignment. Try to get him back in the lineup. So that's the update on that. So Dane Raffaella also went down with shoulder tendonitis. It was a 4-week injury, I believe, 4 to 5 weeks. He'll be back at some point. He was a key player for us, so we definitely need him back. Rotation-wise, it hasn't been great. As you can see, Jamie Casey's in. Has had 2 mediocre starts at the minimum. He's been fine. Jesus Taleka has picked it up the last 3 starts, 4 starts really, after a true stinker. 3 2/3, 9 runs. But he's been much better in those last 4 starts. Spiegel's been good. He is coming off. Or no, sorry. Yeah. He walked 7 guys in this game. Only gave 3 runs. But not great. Not great. Walking 7 dudes in 3 2/3 innings. DeCarlo's been a little disappointing this year, but the FIP still looks good. Hopefully he can continue to play well or continue to get better. And then Yuri's been excellent. His FIP is way better than it was last year. The results have been good. He's cut his walk rate in half, which was already really good, 2.4. Now it's at 1.3. On pace for 7.3 WAR. So potential Cy Young season. And I haven't checked the All-Star game rosters. I'm sure he's an All-Star. Let's go through that really quick. AL All-Stars. Grayson Rodriguez, their starter once again. He's been incredible. Noble Meyer. Just want to check in on him and the career he's had for Chicago. We gave him up in the Robert trade. Got off to a little bit of a tough start, but has solidified himself as a really good, middle of the rotation, 3 to 4 win player. This season's been his best. It makes his first All-Star team, so good for him. Looking through any other familiar names. Let's see. Thurston Williams makes it. He's having a great year for New York. Again, I didn't doubt that he would, but just a little too expensive for us. Corbin Carroll makes it with Tampa Bay. Looks like he fractured his thumb, so the injury is catching up to him, but having a really good season. Despite that, then we go to the NL. Looks like we have Yuri Perez as a starter. Jorge Mercedes makes his first All-Star team. And he's had a really good year. But it hasn't been his best first half he's had, I don't think. Going down, Royce Lewis makes it. I think it's his first All-Star game with us. Yes, it is. So he makes the 2032 All-Star team. Turned out making it since 2028. He's had a great first half. Been a key player for us, even if his defense has fallen off. We're playing him a lot more at first base. His defense at second hasn't been good. He wasn't good at third. He could be his battle definitely play at first. Let's put it that way. Obviously, Luis Herrera makes it, the number 1 vote getter. And in the outfield, nothing going. Watkins probably would have been there if he played enough games, but only played 37. So that's the All-Star, and we have the draft today. So we have the last pick, 36. Looks like a lot of comp picks and stuff. So we're basically picking like a supplemental pick in a normal draft. So Jamie Castro, I would probably take him, although the 4-pitch mix isn't ideal, but he could still be a total stud. Other college guys, Jeff Johnson looks all right. This guy looks really good. So let's see what LA does here. High school arm, yeah, it's a good pick. Maybe not my favorite, but Luis Torrado goes number 2. Another high school guy, Amari Bethia. Brad Tompkins, underdeveloped 21-year-old with low work ethic. Could backfire, but maybe he'll be a total stud. Omari Neveles goes number 5. Good pick for them. So go to our pick. This guy's fragile. Not much going on. Pierce is all right. Burrito doesn't really have an out pitch. Dude's got massive power, but we've been down that road before. Fastball, changeup, splitter, cutter, low velocity, small guy. What is he, 5 or he's 6 feet? This guy's really good. Sam Chadwick. Slider, curveball, changeup, splitter, cutter, excellent pitch mix. Well off the belt is a 18-year-old that I think can work out. We judge a lot of high school pitchers, though. Ken LaCroix, fastball, slider, changeup, sinker, knuckle, curve. Good work ethic. A guy I definitely like. Are we doing all pitchers? We must be. I don't know why I changed to that. I don't know. It's all players. Oh, yeah. We were looking at batters, yeah. Good at some of these hitters. Dude's got some big power with no defense. Not really my type. Another guy. Drafted plenty of those. And Norwood's pretty good. 21-year-old, but no defense either. Tim Reynolds, really well developed for an 18-year-old. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, splitter, cutter. Really good pitch mix. Doesn't really have an out pitch, but his control is definitely his calling card. 35 stamina. That's unfortunate. Totally would have bet on him if he had, 45 or 50 stamina. I don't go for these 3-pitch guys. That's why I'm kind of sneaking by them. Fastball, sinker, cutter. No out pitch. Definitely a reliever. Not a ton to speak of here. Are there any college guys? Oh, I feel like it's all high school guys that we went through. Joe Park, yeah. Yeah, Ed Norwood is interesting enough, but not enough defense for me. Just going through some of these older guys, closer to the major types. Another reliever, yeah. So not a ton. So we're gonna have to dip our feet in the high school waters, as you can say. I don't know if that sounds weird. So I like Devin Price, honestly. I mean, the eye is a little concerning, but everything else looks good. He's well enough developed as an 18-year-old. Who's the pitcher that I liked? I liked him enough. Yeah, Sam Chadrick. I like him quite a bit. Who's the other guy? Yeah, this guy. No, not him. This guy's really good. Excellent control. Slider, curveball, changeup, cutter. So good mix. The home runs are an issue. 6'9", 200. God. He's also impossible, so never mind. I'm not even going to get excited about that. We did draft one guy who was 6'9". He's still in our system. Hansel Moore. He actually doesn't look bad. But he was a 6'9" guy. 22 years old at this point. Doesn't look like he's going to be the stud that we thought he would be when he took him in the third round. But he's pitched okay so far in high A this season. Probably getting a call up to Double A in a couple of days. Shoot, now I got to go through all these pitchers again. Okay, let me go off camera, sift through the guys that I want, and we'll come back with the pick. All right, so I'm going to go with Sam Chadrick. Really high upside guy, high schooler. Kind of know the story with these guys at this point. That I've had a pretty decent hit rate with them so far. With Sean Witherspoon's almost up. Jason DeCaro was a college guy. Spiegel was a college guy. But I think Joey Breen might have been. What was he? He was. This isn't really bad. Okay, he was a college guy too. So maybe I haven't had a great hit rate with these guys, but Sean Witherspoon's still a guy I like. Sedina was a young guy when we picked him up. I think there was someone here. I guess Jason Flores didn't really work out. He was a high school guy. So maybe I don't have a good hit rate, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. This is the best guy available. This draft's pretty weak, so I'm going to take Sam Chadrick and hope for the best. So his bonus demand is below slot as well, which helps us out. We don't have a ton of money put into the draft this year, so we'd love to go below slot and as many guys as we can. Dave Dixon's still here. Really good upside at the bat. Same thing with Lee, Graham. I mean, draft so many of these guys though. That was high strikeout. Ed Norwood, is this a supplemental pick? What is this? This is the second round. Ed Norwood's got a really good floor. He doesn't play any defense, but it's something we could potentially work on with him. Got big power upside. Not a big guy, though, so that kind of concerns me that won't ever pan out. So, yeah, I mean, every day I'm trying to learn more about this game. And if, a 6', 170 guy really does have 65 power, I don't necessarily know if that's, if your size impacts your upside or reaching your upside, I guess. People in real life grow all the time. So I'm not sure. They'll shoot up at age 18 and they'll grow 4 inches and put on 30 pounds, and all of a sudden you're a completely different prospect. It's really interesting. Just looking at any bats, there's not really anyone really too interesting. So maybe we'll just go with one of these high upside guys. Graham's got a better floor, so I think I'm leaning toward him. Let's go with Graham. I like his floor as a 17-year-old a bit better. Although Josh Wagner is also a really good player. Dixon does have the high work ethic. Graham's got better size. It's like an Aaron Judge type with no defense. Let's go with Graham. Gabe Brito's just so unexciting. Fastball, slider, changeup, cutter. Doesn't throw hard. This guy's floor, he's fragile. If this guy's going to fall to the third round, I think it's worth a shot. The 6'9" player. Slider, curveball, changeup, cutter. The home runs are a huge issue. And, he's impossible. Never mind. That's why I didn't take him. Okay, I think we go with Sergio. No. Nobody's talking out of my ass right now. This guy's got some good pitching upside. But the floor is pretty low. Cutter, changeup, slider. Don't hate that pitch mix. He's got a huge demand though. Slider, fastball, slider, changeup. Standard build, standard player overall. I like to go shoot for a little more upside. Fastball, slider, curveball, sinker. Dude's 5'11", 155. My goodness. See, this is the guy I feel like can shoot up if he grew a couple inches and put on 100 pounds. He throws hard how it is. You always are concerned about durability with these type of guys. It's like a Marcus Stroman type. He also doesn't throw as hard as this. So that's the downside with him, I guess. Steve McQuaid's not bad. This guy's got some good defense, not much upside at the bat, but he is a college guy. Decent pitching ratings as well. It's like such a boring pick though. He needs a low work ethic. This guy's got good personality, but lacks upside. Yeah, this is like a really boring draft class. There's a lot of run-of-the-mill type players, so we may as well throw a dart at a good pitching prospect. So yeah, Tim Reynolds is the guy who struggles with stamina, but if you're able to, work that up, even as a reliever, he'd be really good. But I think Tim Reynolds is actually a good pick here. If we're able to get the stamina up to like a 45, couple of sessions in the lab, he has high intelligence, so he might be able to pick that up quickly. I'm not sure how that works. I mean, Besteros is interesting because I think he could actually play first base with that bat. If he was to live up to that. So, that's actually not a bad pick. For what we're working with, of course, it's all relative to that. If that guy wasn't impossible, that would be a great pick. But yeah, let's go with Nuke, Sergio Ballesteros. Great nickname, too. I mean, that's excellent. I actually like this guy, Steve Schrum, so I'm going to take him. Low demand, too. So, we're in the 6th round, so we'll do the rest of the draft, come back with the results. Okay, so, going to go through the draft, how they kind of wrapped up. Again, there wasn't a ton to go through, so maybe we'll just fly through this. Pitching prospect, took in the 6th round. Mike Amador is interesting enough as a 7th round pick. And then 8th round pick, this guy had a $1.3 million demand, but I thought he was worth it. We had a little extra money to spend after going under slot. So picked him up. He could be a potential, organizational depth piece, or maybe he makes some majors. Who knows? Sam Burns has the K issues, but good defender, good intelligence, good leader, good catcher, dart throw. Billy Gray, this is where we kind of got into reliever territory. I thought he was the best of the crop that was available at that time. Just a bunch of relievers for the rest of the time. Some dart throw type of upside guys like this thing. That was the draft. It wasn't too exciting at all after the first couple picks. So gotta keep moving forward. We'll come back for the deadline. All right, so I think we have our first deal of the deadline. It's gonna be picking up Johan Duran, who not having a great year. Has struggled with the home run ball. But I mean, the strikeout to walk stuff is really a thing of beauty. I struggled with a high BABIP, and he has 2 years of control at 19 mil. They're going to pick up 70% of the deal, and we're throwing in a couple of good prospects. Andy Pittman, a guy we got in trade with the White Sox this offseason. That was that was last year's deadline. We traded this guy who's in the minor leagues for us. He wound up playing quite a bit and played really well for the White Sox last season. But we got him in that trade. Same with the Sources, a 2nd round pick that just really hasn't worked out. We gave him a couple at bats in the majors, but I just think the strikeouts were too big of a deal. The power never really developed into a true threat. So we're giving up on him at age 26 now. And Sebastian Norman, another former 2nd round pick. It just kind of feels like he's going to be a quad A guy. I think he's out of options after this season. Yep. So, we gave him a good amount of run this year. Just could not get the strikeouts under control in any season. So, he's going to be shipped out. Career 49 WRC plus, negative 1.1 WAR, but has crushed the minors. So there's still a world that he works out, but this opens up a couple 40-man spots with him and DeSources. Or at least one spot when we add Duran. But yeah, we've been missing kind of this lockdown closer type. Mercedes has been good this year. But if we can bump him down to the 8th inning with his walk troubles, this could be an elite bullpen. So that's the trade. Red Sox are looking to cut some salary. They're rebuilding now, so yeah, it's him or Munoz, but I'd rather have Duran, I think. So there you go. That's the trade. Give a decent amount in that one, but it wasn't anything crazy. It was more depth pieces. So we do need to open up a spot on our current roster. Let's see. It'll probably be a pitcher. I'm going to try Kalen Diger in the rotation. There's nothing's working in the starter spot. So, I'm going to give Telek a few more starts, but he hasn't impressed me too much. Could be Ethan Wheeler, but just kind of throwing a lot of innings for us. I'm going to send down Wheeler. Actually, has Joey Breen got the walks? Yeah, he's been much better with the walks. He's been good. So let's send out Ethan Wheeler and add Duran to the team. I'm sure Wheeler will be back up eventually. It's kind of where we are at this point. So we're going to have Duran. Maybe we'll start him in the 8th inning and see how he does. That kind of just bumps everyone else down, which is excellent. Kind of what you want in the bullpen. These guys are all really quality pieces for us. So that's the first trade. As for other improvements that we can make, not really sure. Inordo Watkins is back, so the outfield's kind of set as long as Jody Watson plays well. Carlos Correa is at third at the moment. He's played well in 19 plate appearances for what that's worth. And, Rosado will be back as well soon, who's playing pretty well before he went down. So, we'll be back if there's any other moves to be made. But, this team looks pretty good. I don't know if we can do much more. Massive burnout on the road. I don't know if we can do much more to improve this team. So, we'll push this up to the deadline. We got a couple days, so we'll be back if there's anything else. Okay, so Tampa Bay is looking to cut ties with Shane Baz, who has been hurt for most of the year. He's come back, made 2 starts, whatever. But most recently, he was a quality middle of the rotation starter for Tampa the last 4.5 seasons or so. He's nothing special, but he's an extra arm that we kind of need in the rotation. And at least he's proven, this kind of gives DL Hall vibes, as in, we're trading for a guy, and I kind of feel like he's going to get hurt immediately, but we'll see. And we're giving up a decent player, Alejandro Gadilla, who we got in the Mets this offseason in the trade for Emmanuel Valdez, who, if you're curious, has come back down to earth, dealing with the strained groin. Kind of saw that one coming. He's playing third base for them, which is interesting. And then who else do we give up? We have Luke Adams, who I'm actually really curious how he's doing. Yeah, it's kind of what I expected as well. So, Dan Rogan, whatever, and David Aguilar. So, made out really well in this trade. We got Hagen Smith, Deion Cole, who despite not playing has been okay. And we also got this Gadilla guy who now we're going to flip for half-season Shane Potts. So we're going to pull that trigger. They're eating all that deal, so it's really just a free player for a third-string catcher at this point. So that will push Diger, unfortunately, off the roster. Wanted to give him a start, but if we're going to pick up Shane Baz, that's worth it. So, yeah, I'm going to assume that's the last move we make, but we still got a few days to the deadline. We're playing well as we lose 5-2, but Takaro has been up and down this year, more so than previous seasons. And then a bad start from... Yeah, they really want to get rid of Dylan Cruz. I was looking at him, but the high BABIP concerns me. He's kind of broken out after being a mediocre player the past few years. What happened in this one? 7 runs from Spiegel, bumps his ERA to 4.5. Been a bad year from him. And then Jason Flores continues to be kind of disappointing. After an okay season last year, he's out of options, so I can't really send him down. But Hagen Smith's been good out of the bullpen. Just kidding. As a starter, he's only pitched 8 innings. I thought he'd pitched more. But he pitched well in that one. So Jesus Toleka kind of, it's a big turning point. If he pitches well, and he does, we win 3-2. Yeah, I was going to say, if he doesn't pitch well, then we might have to look for one more starter, but it's a good start to end his first half or pre-trade deadline on. We're just going to have to bank on one of 5 guys working out in that 5th starter spot, and Shane Baz staying healthy. It's a big risk, but he also immediately fell off after I traded for him. But we'll give him a little bit of a run. It's a free player again, so that'll end the episode. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time for hopefully some playoffs and looking to repeat. Good start to the season, and we'll see you then. Peace.